Hi guys, it is Wednesday, May 29th, and it is the end of the school year. The last day with the kids was Friday, and we had one post planning for teachers, which was yesterday. So I am officially on summer break, but I will be working at a summer camp this year, which is cool. Cause there, I know her. I know the director at the camp. I've been knowing her for a couple of years now. I even used to work there when I was younger. And she kind of needs a little help for some of the teachers that actually work there. They need, some time off, so I'll be kind of like in as a sub. So it's cool. I want to talk about some things that didn't work in my classroom and some things that did work in my classroom. One of the things that did not work in my classroom was my happy planner. It is because I guess I'm kind of rough, and it is something that I use every day. I use it for my grades as a grade book. I put to-do lists in there. I write in there occasionally and everything. And the pages, they kept coming out like easily. They kept coming unsnagged from the plastic binder thing in the middle. So that was really the main reason why I did not like it, because the pages kept like coming unsnagged. So I will definitely going back to my Erin Condren planner this school year. I had a very challenging class this year, and I say that because there were a couple of behavior problems. I had to ante up the incentives, like the regular blow pops and what else, some things I had last year, like pencils and like little doodads that worked previous years did not work this year. I had to get things like slime, and I had to really be creative. I think I even had some silly string in there. I had a basketball, I had a football. Like, I had to come out the pocket with some dough. But the parents did. I asked the parents for a donation to fund the incentive box, and they did. Also donate towards the incentive box. So I had to get some creative things for my incentive boxes this year for this group of kids. Also, some of my parents, the reason why some of the behaviors were consistent, because some of the parents, I guess, wasn't consistent with their behavior techniques at home, or maybe the kids just didn't care, or some of the parents were like, I guess, free type of parents. Like, it was okay for that child to express themselves in that way. So I was just like, well, that's a problem here in the class, because other parents don't like when the child expresses themselves that way. So I don't want them to take home that negative type of behavior, So, yeah, I had a very challenging class. They taught me a lot, and I'm grateful for that. Pencil pouches. Pencil pouches did not work this year in my class, because the pencil pouch works on the honor system. And so when you have 3 pencils and an eraser in your pencil pouch, there needs to be 3 pencils and an eraser back. And most of my 3 pencils and an eraser did not come back. And when I expressed to them that you need to be responsible for the 3 pencils and eraser in your pencil pouch, it was like that they didn't care. And when I called the parent was like, "You're really tripping over pencils?" So I was like, it's not that I'm tripping over pencils, it's just the responsibility that is attached to it. And so that they can make sure we have pencils and everything. So anyway, it was just a big thing. It was a big scene, a big blow up. And the parents, one of the parents ended up sending me a box of 750 pencils. And then the other parents ended up sending me a box of like, I think it was like 300 or 400 pencils in there. So I was like, okay, so we won't do pencil pouches. So I just had the pencils came already sharpened. And I would have a pink like box in it. I just end up calling it the pencil box. And I just put the pencils in there and just let them take a pencil as they needed. And if it didn't come back, it didn't come back. I didn't trip since I was being petty about pencils, I guess. Anyway, but when the pencils ran out, because around about maybe mid-March, beginning of April, after we came back from spring break, there were no more pencils. And I was like, you guys need to bring pencils. We don't have any more pencils. So, you know, they were scavenging, hunting, and looking all over the class for pencils, because I'm like, yeah, I don't have any pencils. I can't believe y'all went through, what, 7, 8, 9, almost 1,000 pencils in 10 months. And it really wasn't even 10 months. It was like 8 months, 9 months. So the pencil pouches did not work in my classroom. The other thing that didn't work in my classroom was the makerspace. Actually, it kind of worked and it didn't. The way that I had the makerspace up, I had the makerspace as a station. So when it was time for us to do stations, that was one of the stations they could go to. And that was one of the stations they could go to. And they were complaining about, I had the Legos first, I had the magnet blocks first. He's taking too long with the magnet blocks. He's taking too long with the straws. He's hogging all the tape. And it was just like, I explained to them that whatever you come over here and touch first, then that's what you get. And at first, when I did the makerspace, I was kind of letting them explore, because I feel like when you bring out certain things, you should let the kids explore, because they're going to end up playing with it anyway, because they want to see how it works. They're curious about it, everything like that. So I let them explore for like 2 weeks while we did our station rotation. And then after that, it was like, okay, you need to actually get a task card and build something. And then I just really wanted them to work on, I guess, building, being creative, but then it didn't work for them. So then I had got the quick writes, the writing prompt that comes with the STEM bins that Brooke Brown has. And then they were spending all their time on building, and it was like, oh, I didn't have enough time to write something. So it was always something, and it was just always confusion over there. And I was just like, I'm closing it down. That's it. No more makerspace. So we didn't have makerspace for like at least 4 or 5 months. And then I brought it back around February, but I brought it back as one of the parents was concerned, because she was like, you closed the makerspace, you know, and her daughter really loves it. And she was saying she had nothing to do with it. So a parent was really concerned, because that was one of her child's favorite stations to go to. So I ended up opening it back up in February, and it was like a morning work thing. So if you finish with your morning work, then, and if it was correct, then you may go to makerspace. So that worked. So right after morning work, they could go to that makerspace, and that really, really worked. And I think I might continue to do it like that, as like after a morning work activity. The Calming Corner. We are like a SEL school, social emotional learning, and we try and keep the kids in our classroom as best as possible when they are having behavior problems. We have a calming corner. Our principal, this was something that was pretty much asked by the principal. I actually did a video on it. But we have a calming corner in our class. Each teacher has a calming corner or space in their classroom. I actually had a corner a calming corner in my classroom. It was like a tent with a rug, a pillow. I had a basket with some little trinkets in it with like little stress reliever balls. I had moon sand in there. I had a timer in there. I had a coloring book with some coloring pages. I had like a sad face type of poster where it kind of like lets them, lets me know how they're feeling. I also had some writing paper in there, some Play-Doh. It was a whole lot of things I put in there. So the calming corner did work. And how I explain the calming corner to my kids is that if they feel like that they are at a level where they are upset, angry, or, in a part of a bad space that they don't want to be in, they're more than welcome to go into the calming corner. And there's a notebook in there where they like check themselves in or, sign their name saying I came to the calming corner. And they calm down and come back out. That really worked because I saw a lot of kids when they felt that way. They did go to the calming corner and they came out on their own, and they weren't in there for no more than really 2-3 minutes. They set the timer. I had 2 different timers. I had like a sand timer, and then I also had this colorful timer. So like I think it was like the color green when the minute or 2 was up, and then they would come on out. So the calming corner really did work. I rarely told kids to go to the calming corner. They kind of went on their own when they felt being angry or upset or something. So the calming corner worked. Something that did work was this year I did 4 small classroom transformations, and I do mean small because I did not go like all out of the way like with decorating the whole room and the whole classroom. It was just pretty much decorating the desk and putting up a little poster or something here and there. So I did 4 of them. The first one I did was and I spaced them out really well. The first one I did was in September, which was the book cafe. The second one, the glow party, that was in about November, I think. The third one I did was the football transformation. That was like at the end of January, beginning of February. And the last one I did was the March Madness, like the Math Madness. And actually the Math Madness kind of lasted for a couple of weeks, and I did that at the end of March. Well, actually I did it right after we came back from spring break. So the classroom transformations did work. I think this year I will do the same 4 classroom transformations. I will just work on building them because I am coming out of my pocket with my own money to do this. Actually, I asked my parents to help me with one of them, and that was the football transformation. And of course we have money like in our budget for some things for our classroom. So the March Madness was also some of the money that I used in our classroom budget because the whole 2nd grade team decided to do it. So we used some of that money to fund our March Madness theme in our classroom. The last thing that worked for me was my sub binder. Our admin team has suggested that everyone get a sub binder, and I think that worked really well for me. I'm glad that they had that idea because it worked tremendous wonders for me. If I was to put in a sub online, I would just say my sub binder is in the back, start with day 5. That's all I had to say. I didn't have to I did make copies. I showed you my sub binder on here as well, but I'll insert a video clip or a picture. But I did make copies of the work that they had to do, but that was at the beginning of the school year, and that was it. I didn't really have to touch my sub binder at all throughout the year. That was it. So I did have to touch it a little bit because I had to update. I put a lot of information in there about my kids and about how the transportation. So I did change it because of course I had like one kid to leave And I had 3 kids added to my classroom, so I kind of just updated it with the names. But other than that, everything else stayed the same. So the sub binder did work. I will definitely be using it next school year. So I just kind of wanted to debrief with you guys of my year. I will be back there next year, 2nd grade, hopefully same room, if not. But I am already starting to think on the classroom theme that I want, my classroom theme for next year. So that's about it. So thanks for watching. Talk to y'all later. Bye.